Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential, and today I've got 6 stash busting dressmaking patterns to share with you to use up those awkward bits of fabric you've got left over. Let's get started. So I think we've all probably had many times where we've reached the end of a sewing project and had a length of fabric that's too big to throw away, but you can't make a whole garment out of it. And I don't want to throw things away. I do try really hard to be more sustainable in my sewing, but just in life in general. And I thought it'd be a lovely idea to come up with some dressmaking patterns that you might be able to use some of those awkward pieces of fabric that you've got left over. Obviously, for scrap busting patterns, you can do things like bags and hats and other little sort of crafty projects, but I thought, it'd be nice to have a bit of a dressmaking focus because this might work really well for some people with what you've got in your stash. So the first pattern I wanted to share is McCalls 8448. It's a knit dress pattern. You've got the option for a sleeveless version or a long sleeve version with a flared sleeve. But the reason this would be great for stash busting is it's got an asymmetric seam that runs across the bust down to the waist, and then another asymmetric seam that runs across the skirt from the hip to sort of like the mid thigh, I would say. So because you've got those separate pieces, you could do colour blocking with this pattern. If you had leftover knit jerseys, you could do a bit of a colour blocking exercise, or you might have some awkward pieces left over in the same colour and be able to put that together because of where the seams are. It runs up to a size 26, which is a 48 bust, a 41 waist and a 50 hip. The next pattern I wanted to share is McCalls 8408. So this is a classic wide leg, sort of not flared, I'd say a wide leg jeans pattern. I really love this pattern, and I always say this, I just need to get round to making some trousers. I made a pair of jeans years ago and I loved it, and I just keep avoiding making trousers because I feel like I haven't got enough time. But the sewing of trousers is actually really easy and quick. It's just the fitting that can take a little bit more time, but I really need to push myself to just crack on and make some more trousers because I love this pattern. So it's got all the classic jeans features, a jeans waistband, the belt loops, the fly front zip, the pockets. And then I think it's probably got, it's got patch pockets on the back, but it's got these gorgeous asymmetric panels again, so definite 70s vibes, definitely a very retro feel, but that opportunity again to use some of those smaller pieces of fabric for some of those panels and use them up. And there's also a shorts pattern included in this as well, so you could use even smaller pieces of fabric for the shorts pattern. This one runs up to a 24, so that's a 39 waist and a 48 hip. All of these patterns are available on our website. I'll pop links to them all below for you so you can pop on and have a look and buy them there. The next pattern I want to share is McCalls 8098. This looks like a lovely simple sew, and it would be lovely and easy to wear as well. It's a pair of loose fitting trousers that have got tiers on. I think one of them has got tiers. They've all got tiers on both legs on the outside, and then a full piece of fabric down the centre of each leg. So again, lots of opportunity to use awkward pieces of fabric here. You could create like a patchwork effect with different colours or different patterns, or you could again do the block colour, the full colour, all the same, but you could use up the awkward bits of fabric that you might have left over. Got an elasticated waist, so they'd be nice and easy to fit, and they're really loose fitting, so if you want a super easy pair of trousers to sew up, these look like they would be perfect. And I think it's super comfortable, like it's great to just wear around the house, or even you might even want them as pyjamas. I think they're probably a bit too full in the leg for pyjamas though, they might be a bit annoying, but certainly for cool easy breezy days at home, I think these would be great. They run up to a size extra large, which is a 41.5 inch waist and a 50 inch hip. And they can be sewn up, that would be sort of lightweight cottons. It says stable knits on here as well, but I think cottons probably would work best for those. They also suggest crepes and gauze and that sort of thing as well. And then the next pattern I wanted to share is a beautiful simplicity dress, really lovely. It's got princess seams and little bust darts as well. It's got a sleeveless design, and then you've got the option for a turtleneck or a smaller, narrower neckband, or just a classic sort of round neck. You've also got the option for a short sleeve as well. And then there is a waist seam, but then there's a sort of panel that comes down from probably just under the bust onto the front of the skirt and down to the hem, and then there's another panel beneath that. It's just a really, really pretty design. I absolutely love it. The fabrics suggested for this one are things like crepes, cotton blends, rayons, silky types. It runs up to a size 20. I've got a feeling this one's available in a larger size as well, but again, I'll pop links to everything below for you. But the 20 is a 42 bust, 34 waist and 44 hip, and I just think again you could do the same thing. You could mix and match fabrics on this one. You could go for all the same colour but have the panels on it, or you could do a bit of colour blocking again, so that's another option. And then the next pattern is a relatively new one from McCalls. I absolutely adore the colours they chose on the packet for this one. It's proper dopamine dressing. I love a bit of bright colour, as you all know. It's McCalls 8510. It's a circle skirt with a fitted waistband, and then you have got the option for just a classic sort of normal skirt without any panels. But then the one that we would use for using up those scraps of fabric or the stash that we've got is that it's got these lovely sort of curved seams that run across the skirt, and you can create a beautiful rainbow effect like they have on the packet. I just think it looks absolutely gorgeous and just so unique and original. You're just not going to get something like that in the shops, are you? So it'll have your own personal style on it, and you sew this up in things like cottons again or chalet, and it runs up to a 26, which is a 41 waist and a 50 hip. And then the last one I wanted to share with you is McCalls 8244, and this is knit fabrics, I believe. Yeah, so knit fabrics. There is a pair of leggings included on this one as well, but the thing I was focusing on, there's a t-shirt and a hoodie. So the t-shirt is short sleeved and wouldn't need massive bits of fabric at all. If you had a bit more, you could make the hoodie the long sleeve top, but again, you've just got some asymmetric seams running across the chest, and then from that asymmetric seam down to the hip, and just a nice way again to do a bit of colour blocking or a bit of mixing and matching of different fabrics and different patterns that you might have left over in your stash. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. As I mentioned, everything's linked below for you. You'll find all the patterns on our site and everything else you need too. If you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.